It was shocking for all of us. There were like rumors of it happening, but nobody knew how or when, or even that it would happen. When we got scripts, it was shocking.
Well, it's a great pleasure to be on the set for The Chosen and chatting with Elizabeth Tabish, or better known as Mary Magdalene. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for being here, yeah.
It's so good. Now, I'm not sure if you remember, but we actually have met once before on a video screen, not face to face. But when we had that conversation, you told me that when you auditioned for this role, you were actually trying to quit acting, but it didn't quite work out for you. Are you kind of glad that it didn't work out?
I'm very glad. I was trying to quit acting because I was not successful at it. I was not booking anything and I couldn't make rent. And I thought I need to do something more practical. But then my agent submitted me to this anyway. And I'm so grateful. It's been life-changing.
Yeah.
I pinch myself.
That's so good. So has it kind of renewed your love for acting, or that sense, I mean, when this all ends,
Yeah.
is it like, oh, well, that's now the end of that era and you'll go on to those other things you were going to do? Or have you sort of thought, oh, maybe I could actually continue in, different areas?
It's a really good question. I've worked on some other projects in the midst of filming the show, and there are so many things about acting that I absolutely adore, that's so fulfilling and so meaningful. But there's also other things that I get frustrated over, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There was a time where I was also directing and writing things, and I think I'll probably want to do that again at some point. But I think maybe a little bit of mix of everything would be ideal.
Well, I guess this has probably given you some options, hasn't it? Because suddenly it has provided you with a bit more of a platform that you can sort of work from.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely. I think more people have seen my work, and I think that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Now, look, I want you to be honest with me.
Yeah.
And maybe hopefully give me a bit of a scoop. I'm keen to know. I've got a real soft spot for Matthew, and I want to know: are we going to see something develop with Matthew and Mary? Sort of more romantic. There's lots of little. Hints coming on, but what's going on there?
I don't think I can say anything. I also, we're getting near to some really pivotal moments in the Gospels that the focus is sort of shifting onto what Jesus is about to go through, and all of the disciples and followers, like how they're dealing with that. So there's I think a little less of a focus on the interactions between, or the shipping of characters. I think everyone's focus is on Jesus right now.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think,
we
saw that they're still friends into their older age from season 4. So that's
that was a lovely little hint actually. You thought, oh, that's nice. That relationship obviously continued.
Yeah.
So that was quite special.
Friends forever.
Yeah. Speaking of season 4, I mean, that's what we've just been able to enjoy in Australia.
Yeah.
And obviously episode 3 and 4 have been the big talking points there. I mean, that, for me, completely unexpected scene that happened, and I guess the ripple effect of that. How did that impact you as an actor, and I guess even, playing that role and, I guess being a part of that whole unfolding? How did that impact you personally?
It was shocking for all of us. I think there were like rumors of it happening, but nobody knew how or when, and or even that it would happen. So it, like, when we got scripts, it was shocking. It was heartbreaking to read, and knowing that we were all going to have to film this, and it was just not a scene that I was looking forward to
I could imagine.
filming. And we spent about a week on that whole episode, or that sequence of events, and it was rough. It was just living in that sort of grief all day is rough. But then you look around and you're like, everyone else is going through this too. You see Joey and Yaz and Jesus, Jonathan, who's playing Jesus. Like, everyone's going through so much throughout that whole sequence that in some ways it sort of bonded a lot of us, and through that grief we were all sort of working as a group in new ways and more cohesive ways, I think. And so it was a struggle, but also, a meaningful struggle.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I guess because we can all relate, can't we? I mean, obviously, if we haven't been through that exact scenario, we've all been through some form of grief or loss. And so people can all relate, and I guess, you sort of layer your own experience into it. But there's so much that we can glean from it there, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the event in the moment, and then also the aftermath of it, of trying to make sense of why this happened, why this was allowed to happen, accepting it, moving, not moving on from it, but like finding the strength to continue after it. And so I think there's a lot of different characters that you can kind of follow for the rest of the season that many different people can relate to.
Sure. What would you say, like if you're speaking to someone that's going through grief and loss, what would be something that you've maybe learned even from being a part of those scenes that you'd be able to share with someone that may be able to encourage them in that situation?
It's one of those things that everyone has their own timing for it. I think the desire to get over it quickly is sometimes a mistake, because I think it's sort of grief is something that may not completely ever go away. And I think Mary talks about it in episode 7 in her psalm that she writes, how the bitter in life remains in the sweet, but it's important to not forget the sweet either. That both of these things exist, and they have to coexist. They have to. But to not shut down completely, and to allow love back into your heart, and to not harden from it and by it, and I think and to I don't know if embrace is the right term, but accept that this is part of your life now, and instead of ignoring it, to find ways to carry it. I guess.
Yeah, that's very special. So, I mean, obviously you guys are filming season 5 at the moment. Can you share anything? Like, is there something that we can sort of, hints or things that we can be looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, season 5 it takes place over Holy Week. And in that week, so many things happen, and it's all happening very quickly. And I think all of the followers are trying to make sense of what Jesus is saying is going to happen to him. And, he's in so many words said, I'm going to be dying. And I think some of the followers are like, is that literal? Is that figurative? Do we fight against this? Do we try to find ways to avoid this? Do we mitigate it? Like, there's so many different, reactions to that. And I feel like the whole season is everyone trying to, like, hoping that it's not going to happen, knowing that it is inevitable as an audience member. It'll be interesting to watch play out. But Mary this season is definitely trying to stop it from happening.
Wow, that sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I know. Watching the Palm Sunday, the last episode that we've been able to see so far, it really has, I guess, set a bit of a. I guess excitement's probably the wrong word, because you know what's coming, but it is also, critically important. So I'm looking forward to seeing what plays out in this next.
Yeah, we start right where we left off, so it'll happen quickly.
Just one quick question before we wrap up. You mentioned before about you got the scripts to know what was going to happen in those episodes in season 4. How far in advance do you kind of know where things are going? Like, do you get is it fairly quick?
It's enough time to memorize. We don't get them so ahead of filming that they. I mean, it's always, I'd say a couple months or so.
But you don't know what's happening in season 7, for example.
No.
It's all still.
Yeah, it's sort of season by season.
That's interesting.
Yeah, which is, I think, kind of good, because it keeps us from playing the ending. I know everyone knows the ending, but it keeps us from letting our characters know what's going to happen. I think it's smart production.
That's great. Excellent. Well, look, it's been wonderful to spend a bit of time with you and get to meet you in the flesh. Really appreciate that. And all the best for the balance of The Chosen.
Thank you so much.